on ESPN+. Good evening, everyone. Alongside Vanessa Bataille, my name's Evan Weston. Thanks for coming with us tonight. Stetson, they've been hitting the ball well, red hot, winning 5 of their last. And now 3-0 as she misses high. Jason Smith calling the balls and strikes today with Taylor Cornoyer over at first and Eric Salgado at third.
Caitlin's typically very consistent bottom half of the strike zone, and these are sailing a little high. I think anxiety maybe playing a part.
That one right down the middle. Evans taking all the way, 3-1.
You see the Hatters are wearing pink, and the UCF coaching staff is wearing pink ribbon on their jerseys. That's in honor of Coach Alameda, the Florida State coach that's battling with breast cancer currently.
Longtime Florida State head coach, 17 seasons. Want to wish our best to Coach Alameda as she enters her battle.
Get it done, Kate.
3-2 here to Evans. Kolziski fighting her way back full. And got her on the outside corner with a changeup.
Yeah, that changeup just floats in. It looks like it's going to stay high like the first 3 pitches, but kind of drops back down in the zone at the last minute. You see that little loop?
I think that might have been a little away.
Dylan Anthony does her best to frame that.
I think Dylan stole a strike there for Kolziski. See why Evans took it. Just the 8th time she struck out all season. That brings up Sierra Humphreys, one of these top underclassmen, a sophomore, hitting .371. She takes in the dirt. Humphreys leading the team in batting average, hits, runs, stolen bases, second in doubles. Sophomore out of Corona, California. Was unanimous all Big 12 freshman team last season, hitting .333. She has upped that in her sophomore year.
It's always a great sign when a player continuously progresses year after year. Doesn't have to jump dramatically, but their batting average continues to climb as they gain experience.
And another 3-0 count from Kolziski. She fought back to strike out Evans. See what she can do here against Humphreys.
Yeah, usually this is a sign of nerves and just gripping the ball a little too tight.
That seems unlike Caitlin. We've seen her just keep such a breezy attitude. She does get a strike over on 3-0.
She does occasionally like to dig herself a little bit of a hole and then climb out.
She's had a very successful season, .307 ERA, best on the team, lowest opposing batting average as well. That one misses, though. It dropped for ball 4. And Humphreys is aboard, a dangerous base runner for the Knights.
Yeah, the changeup just sits low here and ends up short hopping Anthony behind the plate for an easy decision from Miss Humphrey.
So here is the veteran, the lone senior in this starting lineup, Stormy Kotzelnick, who has started every game this year for the Knights, the only player who can say that. Hitting .261. She's actually having kind of a down year at the plate, but such a valuable veteran in the middle of this order. She has not been dropped from that 3-hole. 2 years ago at Louisiana, she had really 2 back-to-back great campaigns. Her best season was her redshirt freshman year at Louisiana when she hit .356 with a .644 slugging percentage, hit 10 of her 19 career home runs as a redshirt freshman. The jump up to Big 12 competition has been a little up and down for Stormy, but she posts every day, plays a great left field, and a real veteran leader here. Kolziski, meanwhile, getting a full team conference with pitching coach Amanda Chambers and the entire infield as she has fallen behind again, this time on Kotzelnick.
Yeah, Coach Chambers making a trip out just to settle things down and change the frame of mind of Kolziski on the mound, get her to refocus, and then, of course, praise the team of what's coming up, how they're going to play this.
Turn it up. Yeah, tell her to turn it up.
Yeah. Well, no, that catches the outside corner, and Humphreys took a few steps off at first, but not running just yet. Dylan Anthony, really good defensive catcher behind the plate. We already saw her nab a strike 3.
Interesting defensive alignment for the Hatters, and then their shortstop is short.
This one hit out towards pretty deep center. Epley lining it up right in front of the track. for the second out. Katzelnick just gets under that one. A long second out for Kolziski. That'll bring up Ashley Griffin.
Yeah, it's a long road when you fall behind batters. You'd like your pitchers to work from the top, at least one of the first 2 pitches to be a strike.
Griffin, the first baseman, 286, 3 home runs. 4 batters, 4 first pitch balls from Caitlin Kolziski.
I would expect between innings you'll see Caitlin in the bullpen working on a few things, get the kinks worked out.
1-0. Griffin has hit for less power this season. Her batting average is up. Her slugging percentage is down. But she is coming in with a solid on-base percentage of .389. Humphreys yet to test Anthony over there at first base. 2-0 to Griffin. Puts a little mustard on that one, gets it over the knees for a strike. Caitlin Kolziski.
See, the outfielders are honoring that power that Griffin has. They're probably just a couple of steps in front of the warning track.
There goes Humphreys on a pitch in the dirt. There'll be no throw. Well, she picked a perfect one to run on. Her
Pitch.
13th stolen base of the season.
Yeah, she picked the change up that short hopped into Anthony. She had no chance. Even if she gloved that one cleanly, she had no chance of throwing Humphreys out at second base.
And now 3-1 to Griffin, and you've got the 2 super dangerous freshmen looming in Mertes and Damon. 3-1. Hits it into the ground off her leg, and it'll run the count full.
That's an ouch. Just that pitch on the inside half, you get it that little bit off the handle, and it goes directly down in that front foot.
This one line foul over the right field line. We'll do it again. Kolziski battling some command issues here, trying to get through this top of the first. For a Hatter team that has been red hot over the past couple of weeks. Humphreys on second with 2 out. 3-2 to Griffin. Down for ball 4. Second walk of the inning. And that will bring up one of UCF's 2 superstar freshman position players, Izzy Mertes, the right fielder whose rookie year has produced a .317, .430, .545 slash line. She's among the nation's leaders with 14 doubles. Also got 4 home runs. Mertes second on the team with 26 runs batted in at an RBI spot here against Kolziski. First pitch way high for ball 1. Kolziski having real trouble finding the strike zone. She doesn't walk a lot of hitters overall, only about 2 per 7 innings for the season.
She typically, if she's going to miss, she misses big.
Right there, another 2-0 count.
Again, I think she's just overthrowing a little bit, gripping the ball a little too tight. Take a deep breath, relax your grip a little bit. Focus on spinning the ball instead of throwing it hard.
Pitch on the outside corner for strike 1.
That curveball on the outside half to right-hander seems to be what she's got the most control over at this point.
Two-one. Mertes takes at the knees for strike 2. That was a good pitch there by Kolziski.
Drop ball in the bottom half.
Kate, you have her. Look the other way is.
Mertes, a 4-star prospect who has blown through even those high expectations. Big spot here, 2-2, just gets a piece to stay alive. If you read her bio, it says her favorite sport outside softball is pickleball.
Love the pickleball.
Knew that would make you happy.
I just think a lot of Stetson players also play pickleball. I think it's probably And a lot of colleges are starting club teams in pickleball, but I think it's a great sport for agility, hand-eye coordination, agility, strategy.
2-2 to Mertis. Inside, and we'll have a full count. That should put the runners in motion here on 3 and 2 with 2 out.
Just missed. Caitlin tried to come in with the backdoor curve. It just didn't get enough of the plate or any of the plate. She definitely had Izzy taking that pitch the whole way.
Payoff pitch. Mertis drives it foul down the left field line, just a little bit out in front.
Yeah, it's a curve on the outside half. She was out in front and kind of wrapped it. Sent a lazy line drive down the left field line. She'll look to make that correction. You see Coach Ball, Cindy Ball is instructing her to take that outside pitch to the right side of the field.
3 and 2 to Mertis. Foot 10 from New York City. Top 50 recruit in the country in the class of 2024. She has had a solid rookie season, though she's been outshined a bit by her teammate, Isabella Vega, another rookie who has been one of the best pitchers in the country. 2-0, just stepping away, and now it's Lopez behind 3-0 on her first batter.
Lopez is a nice-looking, hard-throwing pitcher. Her height certainly helps her out in that long stride, and she throws hard. She works mostly a curve and a rise, so mostly upper part of the zone. So we'll look to see some swing and misses and/or some fly balls out of the Hatter bats today.
Puerto Rican international, pitched for Team Puerto Rico a couple of years ago. She was in high school. She walks Foster, and Foster, who's a base stealing threat, is aboard here with nobody out.
I'm really surprised with the dominance of baseball in Puerto Rico that fast pitch is not more prevalent in that country.
That's a good point.
Or in that province.
It's a sensation in Puerto Rico. Is Epley. Do it all center fielder for the Hatters, batting at .322 this year. Hasn't hit for as much power this season. Just the one home run, but we know she can run into one. The batting line very healthy regardless, and she leads the team in RBI.
Yeah, her power's down a little this year, and her stolen bases are down. And of course, we've discussed before that we think the stolen bases are a product of a team philosophy.
Epley's got an infield hit off a Baltimore chopper. Humphreys couldn't get her in time. Foster was running on the pitch. She's on at second. So a walk and an infield single for Stetson.
Yeah, not a typical slap, but you see Cammie does pull off of it, just barrels it up and gets a really big chop right off the plate. By the time that comes down, there's no time for a play at first with Epley's speed.
That's the first hit of the game, and already a visit in the circle for UCF as Amber Chumley steps up. And Lopez, whose numbers in the Big 12 have been considerably rougher than her overall line. She has struggled lately. Over the weekend against Oklahoma State, she pitched in the Thursday game, gave up 6 runs, 3 earned, and 3 1/3. Her start before that at BYU, she gave up 4 earned and 2 2/3. Her last good outing was actually 2 scoreless innings against Oklahoma, of all teams.
The ball doesn't know.
She had a terrific start. Going a complete game, allowing just 1 run in a 1-0 loss against Iowa State in late March. That was her last long, strong outing.
Tough luck outing for her. She pitched really well, just didn't get the run support.
Yep.
Makes perfect sense, however, for coaching staff to give her a start today, try to build some confidence, get her going into the postseason.
We talked a lot about these impressive freshmen for UCF. Chumley having a pretty good rookie year herself. 295, 6 home runs. That leads the Hatters.
Yeah, she's battled some injuries throughout the season with her lower half, but certainly has displayed some power and some really nice glove work at third base.
Lopez continuing to struggle. 10 pitches, just 2 for strikes as Shumblin gets ahead 3-0.
I can walk and keep score.
And that just catches the inner half with the curveball. 3-1.
It'll be interesting to see how these pitchers make adjustments. You see somebody throwing in the Knights bullpen already.
And that's low and away, ball 4. So a couple of walks sandwiching an infield hit, and Stetson has the bases loaded and nobody out. It is Isabella Vega getting loose in the UCF bullpen.
With Vega's stats this year, Stetson would like to cash in on some of these base runners before she has a chance to get in.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see her at some point. She has been absolutely remarkable this year. Here's Nadia English. Takes a riser high, 1-0. English hitting .280. 23 runs batted in. A solid sophomore season for Nadia, who's found a home in the 4 spot in this order. Not a traditional cleanup hitter, but draws a lot of walks, sees a lot of pitches. Now ahead 2-0. She's had a knack for a clutch hit too.
She has. She's a gamer, as you would say. You know, the bigger the stakes, the bigger the swing.
2-0, misses inside, and now Lopez is 1 miss away from walking in the first run of the game.
I think what I like most about Nadia at the plate is that she doesn't really try to do too much. She's not really swinging for the fence. She's just trying to get the base hit, get the runners around, and do her job. And I think that's why she's had so much success in that 4-hole.
English taking all the way on 3-0, and Lopez gets a strike over. Wouldn't be surprised if Nadia takes again here. And it is a strike on the inside corner. English, as I expected, was not going to swing at that, and now the count is full. Lopez walking the tightrope here in the bottom of the first. 3-2 hit off the hands into center field for a base hit. Everybody moves up a spot. Foster comes in with the game's first run. It's another clutch hit for Nadia English, and the Hatters take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, Nadia does just enough. She gets fisted on this. See, the pitch comes inside. She gets it off the handle, but she gets enough of it. She's done enough in the weight room to get it over the second base bag, just into the grass. Fortunately for the Hatters, kind of in no man's land, so there's no play to be made.
It's a nice cut there by English. Get around that inside pitch.
Yeah.
Here's Weller, who's been red hot. OPS up over 800 on the year. She takes high for ball 1.
Yeah, talk about somebody that's come on hot recently. In addition to Addison Foster, Devin Weller has come up big and clutch in some really big situations for the Hatters lately.
Takes inside. 2-0 to Weller as Lopez has now fallen behind 4 batters, 2-0 out of 5.
You got to wonder how long the leash is going to be.
Look for your pitch.
Vega's still getting loose in that UCF pen. See, their senior, Caitlin Felton, is also throwing a little bit.
I would have to think that the Knights didn't expect to throw either of those, certainly not this early.
2-1, and Weller takes it foul the other way, out of play towards the Hatter bullpen. And it's 2-2. Weller was not even a regular player back in March. He was struggling so much, splitting time with Riley Venn.
Yeah, she was fighting for position, as she hadn't really gotten her feet set as a Division I hitter, making that adjustment from USC Beaufort.
Gotta be there.
But she's gotten her footing at this point. She's standing strong.
Up to 3 home runs, team high 11 doubles.
The ball's just coming off her bat much crisper.
Payoff pitch. Takes it inside for ball 4, and the Hatters get another run on the 3rd walk of the inning.
And a backdoor curve by Lopez there, just missed that plate. Kind of started in and stayed in.
Limit the damage here for UCF. Elkins appearing for the 11th time this year. 3-2 with a 4.92 ERA. Walks have been a problem, and can't afford that with the bases loaded here. Nobody out, 2 runs in already against the freshman Yesenia Lopez, who's been chased after 5 batters, 3 walks and a couple of soft hits, and the Hatters with a 2-0 lead. The bases loaded, nobody out in their breakout senior catcher Dylan Anthony at the plate. Dylan up to 302 on the year with a 432 OBP. That is tied for second on the team. Now 1-1 as the slow drop ball comes in low. Anthony, great defensive catcher her whole career here and has been the starter because of that, but had not really hit at all her first 3 seasons. She has blossomed as an offensive weapon this year. It's a good pitch there from Elkins for strike 2.
Yeah, it's like her whole philosophy at the plate has kind of just morphed and taken on its own. You know, the first few years of her career, it looked almost like she was guessing the whole time or trying to do something that was not natural for her. This season, she seems much more comfortable at the plate. Hence, she's executing much better.
And perhaps her first 3 years, she might have chased that pitch. Here she holds up, it's 2-2. Elkins, a transfer from Charlotte. She had an excellent year for the Niners last season.
Come on, Dylan.
A 2.72 ERA. 2-2 is up and away, and Anthony has worked the full count.
Elkins is primarily a lower half of the zone pitcher with that off speed that you saw in a drop. Looked like that was a curve on the outside half that missed.
3-2. Anthony grounds one to short off the glove of the shortstop Evans, and everybody's safe. Chumley comes in to score.
Dylan, she really hits this hard. It goes directly down, and it's a tough play for Evans at shortstop. And you say she came to get the short hop, and it kind of hit her right on the heel of her glove. Fortunately for them, bounced directly to their pitcher, Elkins, so that no other runners advanced.
That's a good point. That could have been a lot worse for UCF.
Yeah, if that kicks off and goes in the outfield and/or goes out over into foul territory where Damon has to vacate the plate, there's a possibility of us scoring, Hatter scoring additional runner from third.
No ruling yet. I would think that would be an error. And it is an E6. So that puts Anthony aboard. Still bases loaded, nobody out. 3 home for the Hatters here in the first. This is A.B. McLaren, and she takes a drop ball down for ball 1. McLaren hitting just 204, but she draws a ton of walks and hit by pitches, and this is a spot that calls for her skill set.
Definitely. She's a very discerning eye. Also has a knack for wearing a pitch or two here and there.
Love the pink eye black there. I suppose eye pink.
An off-speed strike there by Elkins.
Elkins out of Nitro, West Virginia, a town of just over 6,000.
Really?
Named after...
sounds like a very powerful town.
Yeah, well,
Nitro.
Named after nitrocellulose, the ingredient in smokeless gunpowder.
Good eye, good eye.
Little known facts by Evan.
So Wikipedia tells me.
Plethora of information coming here from my partner, Evan Weston.
You got it, you got this.
2-1 to McLaren from the West Virginia native. And that pitch is smoked out towards left field. It is caught. It will get another run home as Chumley comes on in. Sacrifice fly for McLaren. Good play in left field down the line by Kotzelnick to prevent that from being a significantly more damaging hit from McLaren. But she gets the job done, and it is 4-0 Hatters.
Yeah, it sounded a little more significant off the bat than it ended up being, but what a productive swing by McLaren. She drives it deep and is able to score English from third base.
So here's Irianis Garcia, 8 for 37 on the season, getting her 13th start. First pitch is down and away from Elkins. And now it's Weller on second, Anthony on first. Anything else that comes in this inning will be unearned on Lopez or Elkins because of the error.
Nice cut. You got this, 2-1.
It's a foul ball back to the screen by Garcia. Pardon, that's not true, actually. Not just yet. There's only 1 out.
It's only 1 out.
Yeah, that was the first out of the inning, not the second. So Garcia back at the dish, the 1-1. Garcia hits it high in the air, left center. That is playable for Kittleman. Comes in to make the catch, and Garcia retired for the second out. Now everything will be unearned the rest of the inning.
Garcia tried to wait on that off-speed pitch, but it's just a little out in front, got too much air under it for a can of corn out to the left center. Unable to advance anyone.
Keep that stick hot. Let's go, Gia.
Is Giannopoli having a tremendous year in right field. 333 hitter. First pitch on the outside corner. And we talked about this on previous broadcasts, but a player that has been so good in the 9-hole, and they have resisted the temptation to move her up in the order because she's almost a second leadoff hitter down there.
Absolutely. We questioned early in the season when she was batting, 500 and 600, if they would move her up to the 1 or 2 spot. But I think she's just really comfortable down there. And that, thus the production.
The other change that has benefited the Hatters greatly was moving her from third base, where she was good, to right field, where she is elite.
Absolutely. She is a game changer in right field. As you mentioned, she was a good third baseman. She's quick, she's got good hands, she's got a good arm. But she has changed the complexion of many a game with her play in right field.
The ground she covers, she's got the arm out there. 1-2 to Napoli. Elkins trying to squeeze her way through this inning. That's up high. Hasn't gotten any help from her defense. Lopez left her a mess.
Let's go. You got it.
Definitely not an ideal situation to come into a game, bottom of the first inning with bases loaded, and ask you to get out unscathed.
And nobody out. It was already 2-0. 2-2 is fouled off the hands out towards the clubhouse. We'll do it again.
Generally, you have your starting pitcher warms up to game ready before the game, and usually you have basically an on-call pitcher that is warming up in the first inning, but is generally not expecting to go in till much later.
2-2.
Good eye, good eye.
Below the knees, and Napoli has worked a full count. Now you got Foster on deck. If Napoli can get aboard here, the Hatters have a chance to make this more lopsided. What a gift for Caitlin Kolziski.
Yeah.
Go back out there with
Absolutely.
at least a 4-0 lead. 3-2 pitch. Cued off the end of the bat for a base hit into left field. Runner coming around third, and Anthony gets in under the tag. That was Weller, pardon. Looked like she might be out, but that throw kind of died on the way in, and Damon couldn't handle the hop. Weller is in.
Yeah, she does a great job here, Napoli does, of waiting and going with that outside pitch. It was up in the zone, so all she had to do is poke it through. Weller was going hard from second, and you're right, that throw came in and had some backspin on it, so it kind of slowed down and then short hopped the catcher. I think Damon would have been better off in front of the plate. She may have been back there trying to avoid the interference call.
And Cindy Ball Malone is going to make another change here. Are we going to see a third pitcher in this first inning? Nobody coming out of the bullpen yet.
There's a lot of action.
And, yep, here we go. A third pitcher making her way in for the Knights. Lena Elkins unable to get the job done. Caitlin Cochran is going to give it a try with Stetson up 5-0. North Augusta, South Carolina will face Addison Foster here. The Hatters have batted around in the first inning. Foster walked, scored to start the game. This has turned into an inning from Hades for the Knights. 5 runs in. Just 3 hits for Stetson, none of them particularly struck hard. 3 walks and an error. 2-on-2 out for Foster. He takes an off-speed pitch high, and Cochran behind 2-0. Cochran had a terrific year last year as a long reliever. She threw 26 1/3 innings. She gave up just 4 runs all season. She had a 1.06 ERA. This year things have not gone her way. Her walk rate is way up. Strikeout rate is way down. She's allowed more hits in 14 innings this year than she did in 26 last year, and now behind 3-0. And risk of loading the bases here for Epley.
Yeah, we talked about earlier this season in one of our broadcasts about reinventing yourself every season, and even sometimes within the season, as scouting reports go out and teams kind of get smart to what your tendencies are, and you kind of have to kind of bolster up your weaknesses. so that you have other go-tos once people get on your strengths.
Final line on Yesenia Lopez, unless she comes back in, which I suppose is possible. Did not record an out. 4 earned runs, 5 total on 2 hits and 3 walks. Bases loaded here for Cammie Epley, who hit a Baltimore chopper infield hit her first time earlier in the inning. Epley, the 11th hatter to come to the plate here in the bottom of the first inning, with Stetson ahead 5-0. 3 pitchers in the inning for UCF, and Caitlin Kolziski's just got to be sitting there enjoying, chanting along.
Hopefully she's out in the bullpen throwing something.
Yeah, stay loose, I suppose. 1-0 to Epley.
I mean, you want to be part of the team and you want to cheer your team on, but you also want to be ready when you go out on the mound. This has been a long half inning, so you would hope that she would go out in the bullpen, just warm up. Of course, she wasn't particularly sharp first half of the inning either, so you'd hope she'd go out and work out some of her kinks so that she can get some easy innings going forward.
She'll pitch with a lot less pressure in the top of the second. Did walk a pair in that top of the first inning, was behind in the count quite a bit. 6 straight out of the zone to start the outing for Cochran, make it 7. As she has not done job number 1 coming in here, which is just throw strikes.
Throw strikes, shut the bleeding off. The whole night staff has had trouble finding the strike zone, and
notably they have not used either of their top 2 pitchers, Isabella Vega or Caitlin Felton. Dipped into the back of their bullpen here. 3-0. Epley takes a strike.
But you note that they had trouble finding the strike zone. Even Caitlin Kolziski for the Hatters had trouble finding the strike zone in the half inning, although my assessment of Mr. Smith's strike zone behind the plate is not that tight. It's not liberal, but it doesn't seem that off.
3-1 is right down the middle. Epley taking all the way, and now the count is full. That'll set the runners in motion.
It's very uncharacteristic of a UCF pitching staff to not have as much command as they typically do. They typically come in, throw strikes, blow pitches by you, kind of the punch you in the face kind of mentality.
Epley fouls it back to the screen. It's Anthony on third, Napoli on second, who had the RBI hit that knocked out Elkins. Foster on first, with 2 out in the bottom of the first inning. Hatters looking to add to a 5 spot here in the opening inning.
Right for the flag.
3-2 to Cammie. Caitlin Cochran delivers. High ball 4, and it'll bring in another run. Anthony scores. It's 6-0 Stetson. Back-to-back walks from Cochran.
The bleeding just continues for UCF.
5
pitcher
walks
after pitcher
in the inning.
Struggled to find the strike zone and to be with any consistency. And as a former pitching coach, you don't want him to throw it down the middle, but at the same time, sometimes you're going to have to, just to prove that you can throw strikes and get the other team to honor that and to swing the bat.
Jumley walked and scored earlier in the inning. The 12th hatter to come to the plate here in the first inning. Little back pick attempt by Damon, but Napoli not going anywhere. A lot of speed on the base paths right now for Stetson, too. Extra base hit would likely clear the bases. Anything to the outfield's going to score Foster. 1-0 to Chumley as Cochran has continued the struggles of this UCF staff. And Chumley hits one foul off the end of the bat. That'll find the concourse. 45-minute first inning. And counting.
Nice crowd out here at Patricia Wilson Field tonight. A good combination of UCF and Stetson fans, some Little League players filling the grandstands.
Off the fists of Chumley, foul off the UCF dugout, and Cochran ahead in the count, 1-2. A nice full stands tonight. Great atmosphere. Good mix of fans of both teams.
I'd say.
Let's go, 7. You got
even the left field bleachers are well populated.
Yes, they are. It is an aggravating drive from UCF to Stetson, but it's not that long. It sort of depends on when you go. 1-2 to Chumley. Amber takes high for ball 2.
It's just been an ungodly long inning for the UCF players and staff. And as a defense, you're just very frustrated at this point. You just want to play. Give them something to hit. Let me help you out. Give me a ground ball, give me a fly ball, anything.
This is a fly ball, pretty deep right center field. That is back. It is gone. A grand slam for Amber Chumley. And the Stetson Hatters have put 10 on UCF in the bottom of the first inning.
Wow, what a swing. There was no doubt off of that bat that was going out of the park. I'm just amazed at the pitch selection of Amber Chumley and the way she has just progressed through this season. She gets a pitch that's down and in, and she barrels it up, and you can see she's easy street down to first base and enjoying it all the way. What a first inning for the Stetson Hatters.
And pitcher number 4 on the way for UCF. It's going to be Macy Miles who gets a shot here. At this point, why use Vega or Felton? There's no point. 10 runs on 4 hits for the Hatters, 5 walks and an error, and they've plated every player to reach base.
Now, we've talked before about the importance of limiting walks and free bags, hit by pitch, walks, errors, and how you just cannot give teams free base runners. The Hatters have had their points in time, not as much recently, but at points in time where they've wasted a lot of those opportunities. But they are definitely taking advantage of all of that this evening.
Well, you look at the offense of this team, it has exploded in recent weeks, but not quite like this. 10 runs in the first inning. I've got Jamie on the research now, trying to find out the last time Stetson put up double digits in the same inning. Unbelievable stuff from the Hatters and their star freshman Amber Chumley with a grand slam. Here's English, who singled in a run her first time up. Miles, the 4th UCF pitcher. The only pitchers they haven't used are Vega and Felton. First pitch way off speed, comes down and in for ball 1.
Yeah, I do see Lopez back out in the bullpen.
Oh, they could very easily
Perhaps,
bring her back in. I mean,
try to re-roll that dice.
No matter what, they've got to get 10 more outs at minimum.
Good eye.
English takes down and away 2-0 as yet another UCF pitcher is struggling to find the zone. Miles was a redshirt last year. She's a two-way player. She's 2 for 10 at the plate this season.
Let's get this. Come on now. Good eye.
I have had a lot of experience versus UCF. Many, many years. I mean, since their program's inception, I have watched UCF play, mostly versus the Hatters, but even in other situations. I have never seen this scenario.
Yeah, this is wild. This is truly something.
I've seen this scenario on the flip side in terms of them really just belting the ball from the offensive side, but I have never seen a pitching struggle to this magnitude out of a UCF staff.
Big hit from you.
Miles on the year, 7 appearances, a 3.94 ERA. 3-1, and English hits it out towards deep center field. That one is gone into the palm trees.
The Hatters have come to hit tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Boy, have they. Nadia English goes back-to-back with Amber Chumley, her 3rd home run of the year. It's 11-0.
Just an implosion by the Stetson Hatters this evening. And they've actually done it in both ways. They've been very patient at the plate. They've waited for their pitch. This is just a low over the middle of the plate pitch, just bottom half, but still all meat. And English does not miss. She barrels that up and sends a no-doubter out of center field. Just a tremendous offensive explosion for the Hatters this evening here at Patricia Wilson Field.
UCF has not allowed 10-plus runs in a game since March 9th, and that was at the number 4 team in the country at the time, Arizona. They've allowed 11 runs to Stetson in the first inning. The scoreboard has had to go to 2 runs in the 10th on the board because the numbers are only single digits per inning. Weller, who walked and scored her first time, takes a strike.
I think only once in my lifetime as a player did I ever butt twice in an inning, and I was the lead off. I was the first out and the third out, probably.
This is actually the second time this year Stetson has had an 11-run inning. They did it against UMBC on March 1st. They had an 11-run second.
Let's go, Devin.
0-2 to Weller. And that slow changeup fouled off. That's got to be hard to adjust to. I mean, that is as slow a pitch as you'll see at Division I.
Well, as you know, I am a huge proponent, huge fan of changeups. I think every pitcher, once they master a fastball, should learn a changeup. I don't care what kind of changeup it is. There's like 8 out there. But a change of speed, a change of pace is the biggest factor in keeping batters off balance.
0-2 to Weller. Miles just trying to get back to the dugout. That one sails away.
Just crazy talk out here tonight. We were talking about a little bit before the game the home run explosion by the Hatters in the last several weeks.
An unfortunate foul ball there for Weller. Well, we've seen everything in this first inning.
Fortunate and unfortunate. She got fooled by that changeup, which is a good 10 miles an hour slower.
It almost looks like a company slow pitch.
Yeah, and she...
you'd expect Standard Oil's starting pitcher to throw that thing.
I think her bat head got out a little too far, so it would have been called a swing if she didn't foul it off.
There's a hard one hit through the hole between third and short for a base hit.
Good job by Devin.
Continues. Nice piece of hitting by Weller, who's on for the second time. And the Hatters will bring a 15th player to bat in Dylan Anthony.
Now batting the catcher, Dylan Anthony.
Just past the bat.
An historic first inning here for Stetson. Hatters, by the way, had 12 home runs in their first 42 games. With the 2 here in the first inning tonight, they're at 14 in their last 8.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, I'd ask you what is part of that, but it seems almost beyond an explanation. It just all come together at the same time.
Right, and of course, as a coach, you hope things trend upwards, right? And so I know with the onboarding of Coach Jones and Coach Chambers, there's been some added influences to the Hatter pitching staff and the Hatter hitting and Hatter defense this year. And I mentioned before that, Coach.
No, the score bug is not a typo. Stetson puts up 11 runs in the bottom of the first inning. Caitlin Kolziski has been in the dugout for 35 minutes. Her first pitch to Beth Damon is fouled away for strike 1. Damon, one of the top young freshman hitters in the country. 7 home runs, slugging .504, and playing every day as a starting catcher in her rookie season.
Yeah, she's having a phenomenal breakout season this in her rookie year.
She's been squatting for a while here.
Yeah, she has.
Catching 4 different Knights pitchers who allowed 6 hits, 6 walks, and an error in that first inning. An astonishing barrage from the Hatters with some self-inflicted wounds from the Knights pitching staff.
Yeah, ordinarily I would come back in the second inning and tell you haven't missed much. The foul ball off of Damon there.
Yeah, the first inning in total took nearly an hour. Kolziski threw 29 pitches in the top of the first inning.
She made life interesting herself.
Yeah, walked a couple of batters, but got out of a jam with a big strikeout of Izzy Mertes and has been able to watch and hopefully stay loose a little bit during the marathon bottom half of the inning. 1-2 to Damon. And a little tapper right back to the circle. Kolziski's got it, 1 away. How important is it here for Kolziski to just throw some clean innings here and make sure there's no stress as the Hatters go into a big weekend?
Well, it's uberly important not only for her team but for her. She's getting the start tonight, and just to kind of calm things down. She had a little shaky first inning, but coming in the second inning, if she can just mow through these hitters, and of course they're going to be anxious. UCF hitters are going to be anxious to make a difference because they're down 11. So they're going to want to do anything and everything they can do to change that scoreboard. So Kulziski just has to do her job. It doesn't. She needs to keep it small, do her job, throw strikes, use her defense, and that, it really sets a tone going into the weekend for the Hatters.
Samantha Ray, another young player, sophomore out of Salinas, California. 267 hitter, good defensive second baseman. 1-1 from Kulziski. If you're UCF, especially these position players, and you just saw that happen. Really, other than the one error by Evans, which was frankly a tough one. It was a hard hit ball. Not a whole lot they could have done. They just had to watch that happen.
No, and that's what I was saying. It's very frustrating as a defender to be playing defense behind somebody that's, the results of every at bat is something you can't even influence. Home runs, walks, even more frustrating. You're not even giving me a chance to help you. There's a reason why there's 9 players on defense.
Ray takes a strike on the outside corner. UCF, I would have to think, is just a little bit shell-shocked here. This is...
I am.
Not that fair enough. Not that they're taking the Hatters lightly, and Stetson's been playing very well over the last month or so, but, they're playing these top Big 12 teams every week. They're trying to survive in a new conference. It's their second year in a power league, and this happens to you here in DeLand.
And it's always kind of been a big sister, little sister kind of feel with UCF.
Well, one school has over 70,000 kids, the other has less than 5.
Exactly. But the tables are turned tonight. The little sisters, at this point of the game, getting the best of the big sister.
That happened a lot when I played my little sister in anything involving athletics. That's down and away 3-2. And the Hatters have just been playing so well right now. And you look at their record, they're about a 500 team, but that 9-9 A-Sun mark, they just had 2 awful series against North Florida, and I still can't really explain it. Beyond that, they've been the second best team in the Atlantic Sun all season.
Nothing against North Florida, because they've been doing that to a lot of people.
This one roped out towards center field. Epley at the track. Lines it up and makes the catch for the second out.
Nice.
A long, loud out off the bat of Samantha Ray.
Nice swing by Ray. She gets a low pitch in the zone, a drop ball off of Kulziski, and she barrels that up and sends Epley retreating back to the warning track. But Epley, with her speed, is able to corral that for the second out.
Good job, Kimmy!
But no offense to North Florida. They've had a phenomenal year, and they are running through people.
17-1 in the A-Sun.
And it is a true team effort for them.
Yarnell takes a strike with a changeup.
Minus those 2 just kibosh weekends, the Hatters have played really well in conference, and they, again, have been trending up towards this end of the season, and they're kind of, in the driver's seat as far as going into postseason.
Well, they pitched well all year. The big thing for the Hatters all season has been, and really for the last, decade, has been that they just haven't had power hitters. They have not been able to score runs in bunches. It's been so hard for them to have big innings, and this explosion of home runs that they've experienced over the last couple of weeks has totally changed that dynamic for them. 0-2 to Yarnell, and the DP takes it outside. Yarnell's had a nice little run here, getting her 12th start of the season. She's 15 of 47, 319 in her rookie season. 4 freshmen, 2 sophomores in the starting 9 for UCF. Cindy Ball Malone loves to use young players.
With their youth, they have a real promising future, providing they keep their roster intact. And that's kind of the caveat with everybody in this, kind of free agent system we have going on with the NIL and the transfer portal. But if they can keep this nucleus together, they can really do some big things, especially in the Big 12 going forward.
2-2 to Yarnell. Gets a piece. Kulziski trying to post a 1-2-3 second after her offense spotted her 11 runs in the bottom of the first. Amber Chumley, Nadia English homering back-to-back. Chumley's a grand slam. Chumley now has 3 home runs and 10 RBI in her last 3 games.
Just amazing. I wonder what that feels like.
Never happened for you?
Nope. No, of course, when I was playing, the fences were, 400 feet. So my version of a home run was hit it in the gap and beat it home.
Yep.
There was no prancing around the bases and everybody waiting for you at home plate. That's a newer version of softball, and which makes it much more exciting, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm just old and played in a different era.
Well, UCF going right back around the horn. The starter, Yesenia Lopez, who faced the first 5 batters in that 15-batter, 11-run first inning, did not record a single out. She was the first of 4 pitchers that eventually got in for UCF. All of them allowed at least 1 run. Lopez is back out to face the bottom third of the Hatter order to start the second. A pummeling here at Patricia Wilson with Stetson ahead 11-0.
So Lopez has been in the bullpen virtually since she came out.
And interesting, too, new catcher for UCF. Kylie Strott has replaced Beth Damon behind the plate, and I wonder Damon just had to squat for nearly 40 minutes straight in that second inning, in the first inning. So Strott has come in to catch after Damon hit and bounced to the pitcher in the first inning, or the top of the second inning, I should say. McLaren made one of the 3 outs, but it was a productive one, a sac fly in the first inning.
So I'd be interested to see, and we didn't get this information, but whether Strott came in for Damon on a straight change, or if she came in for the DP.
Yeah, for Yarnell, who did make the last out of the second inning.
And then they just did a defensive swap after that. I suppose we'll find out.
The live stats currently say for Damon, but we will get that squared away for you when we can. McLaren now 1-2.
Lopez looking much sharper, at least much more in the zone this inning. So I imagine she went out to the bullpen and got looser and worked some kinks out and come and put some more in the strike zone this inning.
McLaren fights it off. Lopez throws very hard.
Yeah, she is much harder thrower. She throws upper 60s, and primarily that curveball working from inside to right, east to outside, or across the plate to the first base side. So far, she's shown that she's at least attempted to throw it on both sides of the plate.
There's a base hit for McLaren between third and short, and the Hatters pick up right where they left off. McLaren on to lead off the bottom of the second.
Good job by McLaren. She does get it. This curve is on the outside part of the plate, but Lopez rightfully is throwing it over the plate, so McLaren's able to barrel it up and send it through that 5-6 hole for a clean single.
16 batters, just 3 of them retired.
Come on, let's go, 2-1, let's go.
By UCF pitching. That's the 7th hit for Stetson. They have drawn 5 walks.
That's a full game for some teams.
That's a decent night out. 7 hits and 5 walks. You should give yourself a chance to win doing that. Garcia flew to center for the second out of that first inning. One is flicked back to the screen. Lopez looking much better here in the second, despite the hit allowed. She's ahead 0-2.
I imagine this is who they expected to see when they opened the bottom of the first.
She has maybe hit a little bit of a rookie wall here in the middle of April. Goes upstairs and strikes out Garcia for the first out.
Garcia chases this rise ball up and in. It's unable to get even a piece of it. You see it just keeps tailing up. No chance for Garcia to catch up with that.
That was at her face mask by the time it reached the plate. Here's Napoli, who poked a 3-2 pitch in a left field for an RBI single her first time. She takes a strike on the inside corner. So Lopez pouring in strikes now after walking 3 of the 5 batters she faced in the first inning.
Come on, Gia.
0-1 hit back to the screen. And again, Lopez ahead 0-2.
And you see what a difference it makes to, to get to land a first pitch strike or a second pitch strike, and to be able to show that you can throw strikes consistently. It completely changes the complexion of the offense. I mean, you know that Stetson's wanting to hit because they've been hitting, so they're anxious now and they're probably less patient. Strike
3 called at the letters. Napoli trying to bend down and get a high ball 1 and did not get the call. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lopez.
You can see Napoli's thought process is, I'm not going to swing at the rise ball. Unfortunately, this pitch doesn't go up. It's just in the top of the zone and gets called for a strike.
You're seeing why Lopez was such a highly touted player, and Foster gets struck by the first pitch. That curve coming way too far inside, and Foster has now a hit by pitch and 2 walks. Be first and second for Epley.
It's a bad sounding hit by pitch.
She's shaking it off. Let's see where it got her.
See, it just keeps chasing her in. It looks like it gets her on the wrist and then I think it got the
elbow guard. She turned away from it.
Yeah. Just kept chasing her in. That curveball just kept riding in on her.
Epley has a hit and a walk, 2 runs. Thinks down and away. Lopez trying to change eye level there.
So I was talking about the Hatters were very patient in the first inning. They were waiting for strikes. They were waiting for their strike. In the second inning, they come out a little bit more anxious because they put up an 11 spot in the first inning.
Nice attempt there by Humphreys, just out of her reach, and it's 1-1.
Just out of her reach, just out of our sight. That ball just kept drifting towards the foul fence over there down the third baseline and towards the UCF bullpen. That ball off the left-handed batter is just going to keep tailing that way, makes for a difficult out.
That is down and away from Epley, 2-1.
It's a nice pitch by Lopez, the backdoor curve. Bottom half of the zone, unfortunately, doesn't come back enough to get the corner of the plate.
That one ripped foul down the right field line by Epley. There's the power swing from Cammie, and it's 2-2.
It's the quickness of her being able to turn and get that barrel out in front of that inside curveball. We have not seen that a lot this season. Maybe a sign of good things to come as we close this season out.
Come on, Cammie.
Epley hits this one out towards second. They go the short way, and just in time at 11-0 off the strength of an 11-run first inning.
Offensive explosion by the Hatters in the first inning, not so much in the second. Caitlin Kulziski is back on the mound for the Hatters this inning. And
she's now retired 5 in a row after a lazy fly ball out to left for Kittleman, gloved comfortably by McLaren.
She's doing a great job of staying around the zone but not down the heart, keeping these UCF hitters off the bases at this point. See, as a night battery at this point, there you go.
That one deep to left off the scoreboard and gone for Aubrey Evans. So the Knights are on the board as Evans homers to make it 11-1. 7th of the year for Evans. That'll tie her with Beth Damon for the team lead.
And nice swings by Evans here. It's just a nice, easy swing. She gets something down in the zone that she can barrel up and is able to just get all of it and send it out to the scoreboard. Give UCF a good shot in the arm. You see this a drop ball that just hangs a little bit. Not a bad pitch by Kulziski, but a better swing by Evans.
Well, that's important too, because Stetson's lead is now 10, which means that the game is currently set to go 5 innings. If UCF gets 3 more runs and Stetson does not score again, that would push it out to 7. I'm not sure the Knights actually want that at this point, but
I'm sure the pride part does.
Absolutely. Well, right, and of course these are our top athletes. UCF playing a very difficult schedule. Even their non-conference schedule, they played a ton of SEC teams this year. Georgia, Auburn, Florida, multiple times. They beat Florida 2 weeks ago. Oklahoma, they don't have to play anymore. They're not in the Big 12, and they played them twice, or were going to. They lost one and then had another one rained out. UCF's RPI is up at 29. That would be by far Stetson's biggest scalp of the season. Their current best win is over 91 USC Upstate. Stetson has a very good RPI themselves because they have also played a very tough schedule. Stetson is at 67. That would be the second worst RPI loss for UCF. In the first couple of weekends, they lost a game at the end of a tournament to Georgia Southern, who ranked 89th. That's a very good team in their league out in the Sun Belt. 1-2 to Humphreys. That one's hit in the air to pretty deep center field. Epley back at the track. That's gone too. Evans and Humphreys go back-to-back. Fourth home run of the season for Sierra Humphreys, and it's 11-2.
Just a home run parade here at Patricia Wilson Field this evening. And Caitlin was in a pretty good position and just, again, left one a little bit too much middle. I would imagine the Hatter bullpen will start stirring after the back-to-backs. This one is up in the zone. Not the strength of her pitches is not in the upper half of the zone, but I think she tries to sneak a rise ball in there, and it just hangs.
First pitch is a base hit for Kotzelnick. And Kolziski starting to get lit up. 3 nights reach in a row.
Just an offensive hit parade here.
First baseman, Ashley.
Of course, the Knights, I was going to say earlier, the Knights are, they watched an 11 spot go up on the first inning, and they have to be thinking to themselves, as a good team, that, hey, we can match that. If they can do it, we can do it. And so they're going up at the plate with that in mind.
Oh, yeah, this team can score. No question about it. We've seen it here in this inning. Here's Griffin, who walked her first time. Cousins, I certainly don't think wants to use another pitcher here, but Kolziski, after settling down after that rocky first, has been beaten up the second time through the Knights' order here. 2 home runs and a hard hit base hit. 0-1 to Griffin. Kotzelnick takes a few steps off first, but stays put.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is she hasn't fooled anybody in this inning. The pitches aren't getting that little bit of wiggle at the end, and haven't noticed her throwing the changeup as much, and so she's not keeping them off balance with the speed either.
1-1 to Griffin. That ball bounced towards third. Chumley gets the short hop and throws across for the second out. Good play there by Chumley to pick that, and Weller with a nice pick at first base as Kotzelnick goes down to second.
Yeah, Chumley comes and gets the short hop, which is a nice play, and then she promptly gives Devin a short hop over there at first base just to be able to show her defensive prowess.
Mertes struck out with 2 on and 2 out her first time up, which was over an hour ago. First pitch is rocketed out towards left. That's gone. And the Knights have cut the lead below 8. Their third home run of the inning, Izzy Mertes with a 2-run shot. 11-4. Game on.
Game on.
Patricia Wilson.
Yeah, Mertes doesn't miss this one at all. No doubter off the bat, and with the runner in scoring positions, obviously can walk home with her. Look at this swing. Just nice and balanced. Throws her bat head at it and lets it fly.
And that's going to do it for Kolziski, who is gone after 2 2/3 ineffective innings. Ava Braswell on the pitch for the Hatters, suddenly in a bit of a game with UCF. Ava Braswell on the pitch to Kylie Strott, and fouls one off over the screen. It is 1-1 to Strott. Caitlin Kolziski knocked out of the game by the 3rd UCF home run of the inning, and the Knights are suddenly at least back on the fringes of this thing. Not only have they scored 4 runs here in the top of the 3rd, but they've bought themselves 2 extra innings as long as they can keep Stetson off the board, as they've gotten the deficit within 8 runs. Ava Braswell having a tremendous freshman season. This pitch is rocketed out to center. Epley back. It's gone.
Home runs for everybody.
Kylie Strott, who came in for defense in the bottom of the 2nd to give Beth Damon a break, has homered to cut the lead to 6. 4 Knights home runs here in the top of the 3rd.
And no doubters. They're not just leaking over the fence. These balls are smoked. You see, it's just too fat. The pitch is belt high over the middle of the plate, and you just can't expect hitters at this level to miss that pitch.
Kylie Stroud had been 2 for 24 coming into the game. That is her first collegiate home run.
Good for her. What a big swing.
She'd only had 27 at-bats as a college player. She had just 2 hits. That's a home run. This one is hit out to right. That's gonna go. Samantha Ray continues the barrage. The Knights have gone back to back to back. It's 11-6. And Samantha Ray has her second home run of the season. This is unbelievable. A 6 spot from UCF in the top of the third on 5 home runs. 3 in a row for Mertes, Strott, and Ray.
Again, just too big. Just belt high right over the middle of the plate. It's just like batting practice. You know, the wind's blowing out a little bit when it is blowing, and you just can't sit them up there. You know, let's try something down in the zone. Maybe a little out of the zone at this point. The hitters are so amped up. Let's make them do the work.
So now Yarnell, who is the 9th night hitter up in the inning, Braswell has come in and served up back-to-back home runs in relief of Kolziski.
On 2 pitches.
Yarnell struck out her first time. Well, it was 2 straight pitches. This game is turned on its head. Stetson still has a comfortable lead, but doesn't feel comfortable the way the Knights are striking the ball right now.
I don't know if I was either team I would feel comfortable. I mean, the pitchers are just struggling to get outs.
Lopez looked a lot better in that second inning.
You know, traditionally you see ground ball, weak fly ball, and we're just seeing rockets.
And Braswell misses horribly, 2-1. Well, Ava, talk about, you know, she got off to such a good start to her season. Has had a little bit of that rookie wall herself in recent weeks. Is coming off a good outing at Florida Gulf Coast over the weekend where she threw 2 2/3 scoreless. The first game against the Eagles, though, she gave up 5 runs. Seen her season ERA rise from the start of April when it was 2.47 up to 3.35, and obviously higher now. She's going to get out of this inning here. Harmless 4-3 from Yarnell. Here are top changes here for Coach Paul Malone of UCF here in the bottom of the third defensively. Madison Simon has gone into center field. Kittleman is out of the game. The left fielder, Kotzelnick, has gone to right. Izzy Mertes is also out of the game. Ray has gone from second to left. Coco Jaimes is in at second base. So it's Strott behind the plate. Humphreys, Evans, Jaimes, and Griffin left to right in the infield. Ray, Simon, and Kotzelnick left to right in the outfield. And Yesenia Lopez still on to pitch here for UCF. Was ineffective in the first inning, got lifted after 5 batters without recording an out, was much, much better in the second inning. And now we'll face the heart of the Hatter order here in the third through a 6 spot by UCF in the top of the inning.
Got a little delay here as the umpires have to take all of those changes over to the Stetson dugout and get those all recorded in their book.
Mertes is staying in as the designated player, we've been told. Jaimes will hit 8th for Yarnell. And Simon hit 9th for Kittleman.
Now batting 8th and playing second base, number 12.
Well, they got to get all the announcements out. And then Shumley will come to the plate. Amber came up twice in that first inning, walked and scored the first time, hit a grand slam the second time up.
To right field. Number 28 is the OP. Number 2 is moving to left field.
Still getting all of the changes in.
Number 77 replaced by number 33.
This is quite the process, Vanessa.
This is. Normally we just get a wave and a point.
12, replacing number 10.
But
Second base.
Mr. Jason Smith is going the full bore and getting us all of the information.
Once again, changes for UCF moving from left field to right
Can't
field.
say that I hate it.
Yeah.
Nice to be in on the changes for once.
Yeah.
Bring it back. Let's go.
Chumley takes a hard one inside. A curveball there for ball one. Chumley did face Lopez, drew the walk. She was facing Cochran when she hit the grand slam that blew the thing wide open for runs 7 through 10 in the 11-run bottom of the first. And this is a game again. UCF hits 5 home runs off 2 Stetson pitchers in the top of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, hold on. You're going to see it in this game.
Chumley ahead. So now Lopez has lost the strike zone again.
Your curveball is...
She only threw 3 out of zone the entire 2nd inning.
You got it, Sip.
I think I tried to touch on that a little bit, that the Hatters came out swinging a little bit aggressively and getting away from what got them on base in the 1st inning, and that was being selective and taking pitches, and they came out swinging in the 2nd inning, got some quick outs.
Well, Chumley got the memo, drew us a 4-pitch walk, and that'll bring up English, who went 2 for 2, had an RBI single her first time and a home run her 2nd time off of Macy Miles. And up, Ball Malone is going right back to the umpire. I think we're going to get a pitching change here for UCF.
I think probably this game's a little bit closer now. You might see one of their top 2 pitchers come out of the pen here.
Just to try and keep them within 8. And it is Isabella Vega coming in to pitch for UCF for Lopez here in the bottom of the 3rd. As we get back to the action here, Stetson trying to get their 8-run lead back in the bottom of the 3rd, but now they face one of UCF's top 2 for the first time. Vega having an incredible redshirt freshman season. 1.37 earned run average in 86 2/3 innings. Her masterpiece was a shutout complete game against Florida back on March 26th when she scattered just 5 hits in a 7-inning victory. English hits a soft one to 3rd. Humphreys goes to 2nd, 1, that's all. But they'll get Chumley the lead runner, 5-4. Fielder's choice for the first out.
Yeah, we got a little nubber over there to 3rd base. Not enough speed on it for UCF to be able to turn the double play, but they are able to get the lead runner. Did you see it just trickles over there to 3rd? Nice delivery by Humphrey to 2nd, but just not enough to get English at 1st.
Vega having an incredible season. She is 3rd in the Big 12 in ERA, 2nd in WHIP, tied for 2nd in complete game shutouts, 4th in hits allowed, 6th in strikeout to walk ratio, 6th in strikeouts per 7.
Just a phenomenal season for Miss Vega, and featuring primarily pitches up in the zone like that one.
Weller walked and singled in the 1st inning, scoring 1 run.
Of course, the Knights were able to go on their hit parade in the top of this 3rd inning, pull this game within 5. So then the Cindy Ball Malone felt it prudent at that point, if we can keep it close, not allow Stetson to score anymore, we have a chance
they can
to score in droves, and we can take this game.
At least double the amount of outs you have to play with. Weller holds her swing. No, she doesn't. Oh, I don't think so. But Taylor Kornoyer gives Vega a gift, and that ends the inning. So, game.
We've just seen a lot of things you don't typically see out of Stetson and UCF, and here in just the 4th inning.
5 home runs in 1 inning.
It's like we're in Colorado.
It was wild.
Come on, Ava.
1-1 to Humphreys. Braswell misses away.
Good pitch.
Ava just missing with those curveballs on the outside, similar to what Lopez was doing.
This one fouled off the plate. 2-2.
This one fouled off Dylan Anthony. A little owie back there. You see the courtesy trip to the mound by the home plate umpire to give Dylan a little time to shake that off. Clipped her on the way by. Never fails to miss the equipment. Got padding from head to toe, but it finds a spot.
Taking the ball because of the way he's checking the ball.
2-2 to Humphreys.
Come on, Ava.
Braswell
Let's go, Ava.
trying to navigate this fourth inning.
There you go.
That's away, 3-2.
I'd like to Ava to settle down and work the bottom half of the zone, which is her strength.
Get it out.
She does have a drop ball, and then she has a curve and a screw, but she's throwing it all up in the zone right now, and it's a little tense.
Humphreys on for the third time as she draws her second walk. UCF inching closer as Kotzelnick steps to the plate. Kotzelnick had just a single her first time. Or her last time, I should say. Scored on the Mertes home run. Flew to center to the track her first times and very nearly had a homer. Kotzelnick now 6 of her last 16 after a 10-game hitless streak. She has gotten her season back on track. A lot of talking in the Hatter infield right now.
The Hatter defense trying to stand up behind Braswell. Encourage her to just throw strikes, get ground balls.
Ooh, that was close. Ruled ball 1. Not a bad pitch there by Ava Braswell.
Nice off speed on the outside portion of the plate, which Kotzelnick is a pull hitter, so that's a good spot to put it, but just missed the plate.
1-1. Poked back to the circle. Braswell takes the lead runner. Nice play by Ava, who didn't rush it. Gets 1-5 to get Hymas. And now 2 away after the fielder's choice for Griffin.
Yeah, good job by Ava to turn her feet, get herself squared up to make that good throw to third base. If you're not going to turn 2, get the lead runner. You see a lot of pitchers will panic and just go to first, but she does a good job. Chumley helps her out over there as a good teammate.
Now here's Griffin in a big spot. She fouls one off towards the right. Napoli over for a look, but it's going to settle in foul into the corner. Griffin grounded out in the middle of the home run parade in the third inning. She's also walked 0 for 1. Griffin was part of the last 2 UCF hitters to go back-to-back when she was a freshman. Did it against Missouri. The 0-1. Outside.
It's surprising to me with some of the lineups that UCF has put out through the years that that's their first back-to-back-to-back.
Yep, and the first time they hit even 4 home runs in an inning, and they hit 5.
You got this, Ava.
It's a record-setting night.
Yeah.
Patricia
And they're
Wilson
losing
Field.
by 5 runs. Griffin takes up and away 2-1. Would be so huge for Stetson to post a 0 here when it feels like everything is kind of melting on them to settle it down. A hit and a walk for UCF to put 2 aboard. It's Humphreys at second, Kotzelnick at first. That one down and away, 3-1. A lot of movement on Braswell's pitches tonight, but not finding those spots on the corners.
With the last inning, she came in and she had some movement, but everything was down the middle of the plate, so you didn't have to be a great swinger to hit those.
This is a ground ball to short, hops up on Foster, she's got it. Side retired.
Just a beautiful downtown atmosphere here in DeLand.
Final line on Yesenia Lopez after her second appearance in the game. It's not pretty, but it's better than it was. 1 inning, 4 earned, 5 total runs on 3 hits and 4 walks with 2 strikeouts. Vega got 3 outs on 2 batters in the third inning. Faces Anthony McLaren Garcia here in the fourth. And Dylan Anthony cuts and misses through a riser for strike 1. Anthony has reached on an error and popped out. It's actually 0 for 2.
Yeah.
Though she did score a run in the first inning after getting on a hard hit ball right at the shortstop Evans that bounced off of Aubrey Evans' glove.
Yeah, the road's not getting any easier for the Hatters facing the top pitcher in the UCF lineup at this point in the season, and she just features that rise ball up in the zone and just fools a lot of hitters. It looks good early, and then it just keeps going up, and that's a hard pitch to catch up with.
And what's amazing about Vega is that she's carried her success into the Big 12. In Big 12 play, her ERA is actually lower. It's 1.27, slightly lower than her season ERA. She's allowed 7 earned runs in 38 2/3 innings on a 162 batting average against in Big 12 play.
Her numbers are just crazy.
Good eye.
And of course, you're seeing why she's effective. She's got so much spin on her pitches, so she gets a lot of late break, a lot of swing and misses, or little nubbers off the end of the bat, and that's what it takes to be successful against, big swinging teams.
And you got Felton in there, who is the more traditional ace of the staff, the workhorse. He's in the top 10 in basically every pitching statistic in UCF history. But Vega has been, from a per batter basis, the most effective UCF pitcher this year.
And I'm sure not a surprise to the UCF staff, just a surprise to the rest of the nation.
Well, they redshirted her last year, and she has clearly benefited from it. Here's a pop-up towards third. Humphreys is there for the first out.
Sometimes it's a gift to a player, even though it's hard to see it at a time, to be able to take that year to develop and not have to get beat up by the other team while you're changing some things. While you're honing your skills, so to speak. You get to pitch against your own teammates periodically, but you're not having to go out and face other teams night after night while you're working on your pitches.
Vega has thrown 3 7-inning complete game shutouts this season. Missouri, Providence, and Florida.
He's stepping up in big-time situations for sure.
She went 8 2/3 in an outing against Iowa State earlier this year in a 2-0 9-inning defeat.
Another hard luck loss.
Yeah.
Similar to what we were talking about with Lopez earlier in the one-run loss, the 1-0 loss.
Come on, let's go. Let's go 5.
1-1 to McLaren, who is 1 for 1, a sac fly and a base hit. And now ahead 2-1. AB doesn't get cheated up there.
She definitely sees a lot of pitches. She works the count. Again, not afraid to wear one here and there. And of course, as the Hatter hitters, you're still up by 5. You can afford to be choosy at the plate. Make Vega work. Make her throw you strikes, lay off that high stuff until she proves she throws it for a strike and he calls it for a strike consistently. Look for something down in the zone and barrel those up.
Vega walks less than 2 per 7 innings.
Of course, the offensive road is much harder for the Hatters with Vega in, but you're up by 5, so.
And listen, they've hit some good pitchers.
They have
in recent weeks.
I mean, we played some big teams, or the Hatters have faced some big pitchers on their own, and have really, especially recently, proven that they can hang in there. But again, they have to kind of, somebody in that dugout has to kind of shake the vibe of the holy crap and just settle back in. And I dare say if they were up 5-0, they would be in a different mind space than up 11-6. It almost seems like it's more daunting, 11-6, just because you've seen the hit parade that they put on. But you have to remind your teammates and yourself that, hey, we put up 11.
McLaren putting together a good at-bat here. Going to see a 7th pitch from Isabella Vega. Strike 3 called. Vega goes to the off-speed and freezes McLaren for the 2nd out. And AB knew it right away.
Nice changeup by Vega here over the heart of the plate, but it starts high, and that's simply the product of her having that rise ball and the Hatters trying to stay off that high pitch. She kind of gave up on it early, and it's just sunk back through the zone.
I like her attitude on the mound, Vega. She's very no-nonsense, totally dialed in. She doesn't throw as hard as Lopez, but
all business.
She just goes about her business, hits her spots. Garcia 0 for 2, a fly out and a strikeout. She is the only Hatter not to reach base in some form or fashion. She pops this one foul over the screen behind 0-2.
Good play by a spectator in the grandstands.
Yeah, that finagled its way through the little gap between the top of the net and the press box.
I was waiting for the bang on the bleachers, but it didn't happen.
It's a bummer that you got to give it back. 0-2. Garcia holds off of this one upstairs. 1 ball to 2 strikes.
$10 ball.
One, 2. Away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Garcia. So Hatters making Vega work here in the bottom of the 4th, but they've not yet actually produced anything.
Yeah, I like the strategy of them taking some more pitches and, you know, kind of staying zoned in on a particular pitch. Just have to then honor all those pitches when she gets up.
Garcia rockets one into the gap for a base hit. Garcia's on her way to second. That one goes all the way to the wall. And Arianis Garcia, here's Napoli, who had an RBI knock in the first inning, scored a run. That is just the second extra base hit of Arianis Garcia's career. First pitch on the outside corner to Napoli for strike 1.
Love it for Garcia getting a start at second base tonight, making the most of her opportunity at the plate there.
Absolutely a spot where Shelly Cousins could have pinch hit and chose not to. Paid off there for her. She's been pressing all the right buttons this year. Napoli takes down and away for ball 1. And Vega does not give up a lot of hard contact. It was a heck of a plate appearance by Arianis Garcia. 1-1 to Gia. Cuts and misses at the rise ball.
Gia uncharacteristically was going for some power on that swing. I think she get her first career home run this past weekend at Fort Myers.
And she's up to 2 now.
Get it done.
Napoli. 1-2. This time she lays off. Vega went right back to it, and it's 2-2.
Gia typically a tough out. Good eye at the plate, puts the ball in play. Good speed.
Takes away, and that'll run the count full.
She just never really seems to be rattled, or too amped up. Just always very on plane, on key.
Let's go, Gia. Let's go. Let's go.
3-2. Napoli hits it in the air. Left center field. That is deep. That is gone off the scoreboard. Gia Napoli with an Oppo Taco, and the Hatter lead is back out to 7 as Napoli takes Isabella Vega deep for the 3rd home run of the season.
What a great at-bat by Gia. She waits for something to come back over the plate. Vega comes back over outside half of the plate. And Gia just does a great job of staying behind this pitch and barreling it up to the scoreboard. A great job by Gia, and of course a breath of fresh air here for the Hatter offense to just prove that we can score and we can keep scoring. Maybe that'll kind of change the mindset when they go out on defense for the Hatters, that they'll loosen up a little bit and ride the wave.
Cindy Ball Malone was arguing something to Jason Smith behind the plate.
She was arguing at, I think it's Chumley's home run, that something about the crowd of the players. I know the players can't touch the batter runner or the runners before they touch home plate. And I thought that the first time she was arguing, that was it, but it seemed that the Hatter stayed way behind the plate in that at-bat, so I'm not sure if she was still arguing the same point.
Foster's been on all 3 times, 2 walks and a hit by pitch. This is a big spot now with the Hatters 1 run away from rebuilding that 8-run lead and shortening this game.
See another one of those.
13-6 after the Napoli home run. Foster waves the bat out, does not go around. Eric Salgado rules that she held up. I think he was right on the money there. It's 2-1.
I think he was, but I was holding my breath after the
one
last
at
half
first was just an awful call on Devin Weller.
I think she just got caught off guard.
That's all right.
There's a strike to Foster. It's 2-2.
A little full house going on the board out there.
Let's get it done right here. Let's get it
Having
done.
a husband that's a sports information guy. It's all the scoreboard games they look for. We got 1-1, 2-2-2.
There's a line shot into the gap in right center. That's going all the way to the fence. Foster heading to second. She's got a stand-up double. And the Hatters can shorten this game with a base hit. I love this Karate Kid pose they do on the bases. Saw Garcia do it earlier. Now it's Addison Foster's on for the 4th time as her star turn continues.
Yeah, great at bat by Foster. She gets something middle. Barrels it up, sends it in the gap hard.
Not a good pitch.
Yeah, not a good pitch at all. I think it was supposed to be a curveball, and it just sat flat. You saw Foster rounding first, going into second, thinking about third, but thought better of it and stopped at second.
So Vega really struggling here, has given up 3 straight extra base hits. Now Epley gets under one, right side of the infield, and Jaimes will make the catch. 7 in the first inning. UCF responded with 5 home runs, including 3 back-to-back by Mertes, Strott, and Ray, who are due up here in the 5th to make it 11-6. Hatters get 2 back to make themselves feel a little bit better in the bottom of the 4th.
You got it, Ava. Let's go, Ava.
Mertes continuing an incredible freshman year. Swings on 2-0 and fouls it off up the third base line.
Yeah, the Hatters really need to settle in on defense. They need Braswell to settle in on the mound and just do what she does, stay bottom half of the zone, work the drop ball, the change, curve on both sides of the plate, but bottom half of the zone to make the night hitters do their work at the plate.
Mertes gets this one out towards right center. You can forget that.
We're just trading punches here, ladies and gentlemen.
First time in UCF history they have hit 6 home runs in a game, and it's Mertes who goes yard to right center, her 2nd of the night, 6th of the season.
It's a no-doubter out to right center. Mertes gets all of this pitch. Again, too much white.
And that's going to do it for Braswell. Maybe one batter too late as Shelly Cousins comes out of the dugout.
Yeah, see, this is her drop ball, but it just hangs up too much. That drop's got to start mid-thigh to knee and break down around the ankles, and she threw that waist to knee, so.
Haley Arnold coming on to pitch for Stetson with 6 home runs, their most in a game in program history. First pitch in the dirt gets away to Kylie Strott, who hit home run number 4. Her first career home run her last time up.
Yeah, Arnold comes in. She started the season strong and then kind of hit a slump there in March. Has really bounced back here in April, featuring mostly east-west.
This one rocketed fair down the line. That goes all the way to the corner, and Strott's going to get 2 bases. So Strott came in with 2 career hits. She's got a home run and a double here tonight.
She has proven her worth here tonight. See, this curveball is supposed to break out, and it just sat inside. And again, just stayed too fat. Everything that UCF's hit has been, well, one was low. That was really close to being foul down there.
Arnold, her last 2 appearances, 9 1/3 innings, just 1 run on 3 hits against Queens and Florida Gulf Coast. Swing and a miss out of Samantha Ray for strike 1. Ray hit a home run to go back to back to back, an historic first for the Knights in the 3rd inning. They still trail by 6 runs.
It's a nice change up there by Arnold.
Here's a bunt foul, and that'll make it 0-2. That was clearly Ray bunting for a hit there. You certainly don't want to give away an out at this stage if you're UCF.
No, of course, when your teammates are hitting rockets out of the field, that usually has the defense on their heels a little bit, so it's a good time to lay down a bunt if you have speed.
You yourself just hit a rocket your last time up if you're Samantha Ray.
Correct.
0-2, she squares. Pulls it back.
Just a timing.
And rips it into right field for a base hit. Strott will stop at 3rd, and a smart decision not to challenge the arm of Napoli. But it's runners on the corners and nobody out for UCF as Madison Simon will take her first turn at bat tonight.
Come on, girl.
Simon is a regular starter who
Center fielder.
came off the bench tonight, now in center field, hitting 196, 20 out of 102 with a home run, 9 RBI. And Arnold, after coming in, has given up back-to-back hard hits. As the Knights inch ever closer here in the top of the 5th, and certainly looks like they're going to get the full 7 innings, especially they can tack on a couple more here. That's in for a strike. The throw down to second. They've got a run down on. Runners coming home. The Hatters will take the out and allow Strott to score. So Ray caught stealing, but Strott comes in on the play, and it's 13-8. The bases are clear with 1 out.
Probably a wise decision by Foster there after she got the runner.
Is she arguing for obstruction?
Interferent, yeah.
And they're going to
She's
bring the
gonna argue
umpires
as
together.
That the Weller, whoever's on first, she's going to try to argue that they forced her around.
That's ridiculous.
It looked to me like Ray was running on her own.
Yeah.
Deep towards right to avoid a tag.
And they confirmed the call, so Ray is out.
But I think a good decision by Foster to stick with getting the out at first.
Yeah, I think if you're the Hatters, you take that trade.
Once she started running towards first, you know, to shift your feet and get a good strong throw to home is difficult to put that on the money. So take the out.
And this one rocketed out to left. McLaren makes the catch on the run up against the line. And Simon lines out to left field for the second out.
Yeah, loud out to left field. These pitchers aren't fooling the bats this evening. We've had very few swing and misses tonight.
Basically, there has not been a pitcher who's appeared in this game who has pitched well.
I mean, everything has been, most of the outs have been loud outs. We had a couple of strikeouts by Kulziski in the first inning. Outside of that, everything's pretty much been hard contact.
On both sides.
We had the 1 inning.
Yeah, Lopez got a couple in the second.
Yeah, and then Vega's first inning, she
got a couple ground balls.
Yeah, she pitched to easy contact, but a couple of strikeouts scattered out for either team. But a lot of loud, hard contact this evening.
2-0 to Hymas, who singled her first time up, coming in during the bottom of the 3rd at second base. Got on to lead off the 4th, and is now ahead 3-0 with the dangerous top of the UCF order on deck with Aubrey Evans.
Yeah.
3-0 pitch. Outside ball 4. So Hymas draws a 4-pitch walk. And up comes Evans, who hit the first of UCF's 6 home runs tonight with 1 out in the 3rd inning off of Caitlin Kulziski. She's also struck out and flown to right, 1 for 3.
Aubrey Evans.
Let's get it done. Come on, Haley. Let's get this done. Come on, Haley. Haley.
You hear the Hatter fans, one in particular, exhorting Haley Arnold here.
Yes.
Missed again. 5 straight out of the zone. It's 1-0.
Yeah, you'd like for somebody on your defense, someone on your infield to kind of walk towards your pitcher and kind of redirect her mindset at this point.
That one misses wildly, and here comes Chumley to do exactly what you said. And Anthony and Foster, Weller are going to join in.
Just really have to kind of stop what perceived momentum is out there, and I mean, you're at the top of the order and kind of the
you've still got a 5-run lead.
Absolutely.
And only 7 outs at most to go.
So you got to refocus here. Let's throw good pitches and focus on our spin. Not give them any more free stuff, but certainly don't throw it down the middle either. So of course, as a pitcher, as a pitching coach, I'd never go out there and say don't throw it down the middle. You always want to give positive direction. So.
Well, she knows what she needs to do
Sure.
and not do. Oh, she threw it down the middle, and it's poked into left field, foul. Oh, Evans a little bit out in front of that one. That was a meatball on 2-0.
Fortunately, Evans wraps that one and sends it harmlessly down the left field foul.
Well, she smiles. She knew she had a pitch to hit right there. Still a comfortable lead, but Evans with one swing could change that. 2-1 to the night shortstop. Good changeup in for a strike, and she's even 2-2.
That's pretty much the missing piece tonight, right? Is the off-speed pitches that are able to be thrown for a strike.
Well, and that's Arnold's bread and butter. Her
keep the Hatters off.
Might be the best singular pitch on the Hatters staff when it is on. 2-2. Hard one, poked out towards right field. That's a base hit. Hyma stops at second. Evans with her second hit of the night. And now Humphreys, who's yet to make an out, will come up with 2 aboard and 2 out in the 5th.
That's unfortunate for Haley Arnold. She made a great pitch here, got Evans all out in front. Just hit it off the tip of the bat. It just found a home out there in shallow right field.
Humphreys hit her 4th home run of the year in the 3rd inning. She's walked twice. Sophomore enjoying a terrific campaign. Her OPS is over 1,000. 1,003 with her 3 appearances at the plate tonight.
Enjoying her bubble gum up there.
She's a gamer. Great defensive third baseman as well. 0-1 to Humphreys. Change up on the outside corner, and Arnold ahead, 0-2.
That's a good sign for your Hatters, is getting ahead of the batter. That hasn't happened for many pitchers tonight on either side.
0-2 to Humphreys. The pitch. Grounded to shorts.
Keep it hot there. Come on, 7.
Here's the third baseman.
Isabella Vega, a rare moment of weakness, gave up a 2-out, 2-run rally in the 4th inning to Stetson. UCF offense got the runs back in the top of the 5th. Chumley, English, Weller for Stetson. Chumley has been on all 3 times. Has 2 walks sandwiched around a grand slam, her 3rd home run in her last 3 games.
She's just continuing her freshman barrage.
Finally healthy, has been phenomenal over the last few weeks. Gets fooled there, though, by the off-speed. 1-1. Chumley, English, Weller, as the Hatters need 3 in the 5th here to end the game. They scored 11 in the 1st inning. UCF scored 6 on 5 home runs in the 3rd, and we've been trading blows since.
Yeah.
Vega, 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 strikeouts out of the bullpen. She probably expected to have the night off.
I imagine everybody in the UCF dugout expected her to have a weekend or a night off. Sure, they expected to rest Felton and Vega up for the weekend.
Well, they tried their darndest to. It turned out that Stetson scored 11 runs off of their other 4 pitchers in that 1st inning. It was Lopez, Elkins, Cochran, and Miles all contributed to that.
Yeah,
Vega gets Chumley upstairs for the 1st out.
Rise ball up, just keeps climbing. Vega's deadly pitch. That mixed with her changeup is why she's so successful. She's able to spot that changeup in the upper half of the zone that kind of falls back into the zone, and of course the rise ball climbing out of the zone.
She doesn't throw that hard, but it seems very difficult to pick up what's coming, and she hits her spots.
Deception is key.
English hit into a double play last time, was ruled to have obstructed having left the line to go towards second after a fielder's choice. She's also singled and homered tonight.
Calling that she didn't get clear. She didn't vacate the area, so they had an opportunity at the double play. Is what the call was. I think
feels like a classic bit of over legislation, but
yeah.
She's ahead 2-0 here. Hit her 3rd home run of the year back in the 1st inning. Scored twice.
I'm sure both coaching staffs will have some interesting conversations on the pitching side of tonight. Offense has been doing their job for both teams. Defense has arguably been doing their job. It's the pitching that has not shown tonight. And I kind of expected that to be more of the case.
Yeah. A little blooper to the screen, 2-2. More history from Stat Guru Jamie here. The highest scoring game in the history of this series was 14 total runs. It was an 8-6 Stetson win in 2002. They have mashed right through that.
Yes.
He also pointed out this.
Is that the Stephanie Best, Melissa Wiggins era?
How often do you see a team hit 6 home runs in a game, something that UCF has never done in their history?
Yeah.
And
Well, that's a lot of home runs.
And trail by 5.
Yeah, that's a lot of home runs, because especially if you hit 6 home runs in a game, you're typically over in 5.
Right. 5 of the 6 home runs were solo shots. 2-2 to English, and Nadia rips one into the gap in right center. That's going up to the wall. English rounding first, will cruise into second with a 1-out double. And there's the Karate Kid from Nadia English. I hope that's the reference. I hope I'm not butchering it. But it just looks like Danielson, you know, doing the pose.
A good piece of hitting here by English. He stays on that back foot, goes with that backside pitch, drives it into that gap. And it fortunately doesn't carry him off the fence. She cruises in easily. There you see that Karate Kid reference. I'd love to hear the backstory behind that.
Yes. Well, every team's got their celebration.
But it's fun to see the team's personality develop through the years. You wonder, they just got back from that road trip against Florida Gulf Coast, if they watched a few movies on the bus.
It's not a short bus ride from DeLand. It's about 5 hours.
Yeah, you wonder if they came up with something new.
0-1 to Weller, who was walked, singled, and struck out controversially. Appeared to have held up on a 1-2 pitch and was ruled to have gone around at first base. So that's the 4th extra base hit that Vega has allowed in this outing. She'd only given up 16 extra base hits all season. So she's increased that by 25%. She's going to get Weller here, though, on the pop out. Tracks it down herself, 2 away.
And helps herself on this one. Jams Weller up on the inside, gets the easy pop fly to the mound. Helps herself out of that one.
So here's Anthony, who's 0 for 3. Reached on an error, scored, and has popped out twice.
Come on, Dylan, let's make it. Come on, let's do it.
I'd like to see Dylan make that adjustment, get the top half of the ball, time something up, and join the hit parade tonight.
Yeah, she is the only Hatter that has not hit safely tonight.
I'm sure she'd like to change that right now. She's made so much improvements this year.
Yeah, it's been a true breakout. And you love to see that for a 4th-year player in your system who's, you know, her defense has kept her as the starting catcher, and the Hatters didn't have a better option offensively, but she has finally put it all together in her senior season at the plate.
And you love to see that for such a consummate teammate. I mean, her 4 years here, she's done nothing but help in every way she can, both with the pitching staff as well as her teammates, and has really done a phenomenal job with the pitchers. This year, she's just able to couple that with a good offensive year.
Well, what a job she has with this young staff. Kolziski, the only upperclassman among the Hatter pitchers. They've got 3 freshmen and a sophomore that she's working with.
And much like the UCF team, the Hatters only have 3 seniors, so to speak, 1 grad transfer, and then the 2 traditional seniors in Epley and Anthony.
Yeah. 2-2. Dylan pops it back to the screen, working a long at bat here against Vega, who's had to work 57 pitches through 2 2/3. In her first inning, she only threw 7 pitches. So Hatters have put long at bats together.
I don't know that anybody saw this game coming.
No, I don't think so. 2-2. Up and away.
We spoke a little bit earlier about the progression of the Hatter offense through the year. They started out.
Stormy Kotzelnick 1 for 3, singled and scored back in the 3rd. Has flown to center, hit into a fielder's choice. Hatters with a 5-run lead, 6 outs to get after an 11-run first inning. But the Knights have hit 6 home runs in what has been one of the crazier games of softball you will ever see between these 2 longtime Central Florida rivals. Long time ago, conference rivals. Were you on staff when UCF was in the TAC, as they called it back then?
Yeah, their first 2 years, maybe, they were in the TAC.
Okay.
And then they merged over into the ASUN before breaking back out.
There's an off-speed pitch by Arnold in for strike 2 and 2. UCF has moved up over the years. CUSA up to the American, and now in their 2nd year in the Big 12. A league that is suddenly wide open after the departures of Oklahoma and Texas. This is a can of corn to left field. McLaren there for the first out.
Yeah, believe it or not, I was coaching when we went over to UCF to play in their first couple of years of existence, and they were playing on their first field.
Now,
which is now, I believe, where the Coliseum is, or whatever they call their arena, I should say. They only had that field like maybe three, maybe 4 years at the most.
Beautiful complex now. That whole campus is so nice. Here's Griffin.
I don't even know if you could call it a campus. It's more like a city.
It really
has everything.
Over 70,000 enrollment, one of the largest schools in the country. A lot of commuters, but a lot of kids stay local as well. Yeah. And has blossomed into just a tremendous institution.
It's like they have their own like downtown area, lots of restaurants and
it's entertainment. They've almost become Orlando's third pro organization after the Orlando Magic and the soccer teams, in that they have captured the attention of the city. Certainly the football team with their Fiesta Bowl season with Blake Bortles, and then the year in 2017 when they went undefeated and declared themselves national champions, which I, by the way, wholeheartedly support. Strike three called as Arnold gets Griffin on the inside corner, 2 away.
It's the first series that I've seen Arnold throw tonight that she's really looked like she was in command. She comes with that backdoor curve on the inside part there. Had a change up early for a called strike.
Now the big test, what can you do with Mertes, who has homered each of her last 2 times up, went the opposite way back in the 5th inning for a solo shot that knocked Ava Braswell out of the game.
Yeah, she had the one on the scoreboard in the 3rd inning, and then the one out to right center field in the 5th inning.
Mertes up to 325, 6 home runs, a 1029 OPS as a true freshman.
So many powerful hitters in this night's lineup. Just hard to know where to take a breath.
2-0. On the knees for a strike. Good pitch there by Arnold. UCF 4 outs left, and the momentum has dulled.
Yeah, it's kind of just like the flag. It's just kind of hanging there. It's like neither team really is confident or taking charge, and neither team is laid down and gone to sleep either. It's like both teams are kind of waiting to see what happens.
Dylan Anthony kind of stealing a strike right there.
Still a strike.
2-1. 2-2 now to Mertes. And she pops it up foul. We'll do it again. Well, UCF continue their Big 12 season this weekend at home against Houston, who are in last place in the Big 12. The Knights with an outside shot to get into that top 5 in the conference tournament and get a first-round bye.
So they have Houston at home this weekend, and then I think Kansas away the following weekend.
De Bella Vega. McLaren 1 for 2 with a sac fly and a base hit. Struck out looking on an off-speed pitch by Vega her last time. And there's one in for a strike on the inside corner. Vega 3 innings, 4 hits, all extra base hits, 2 runs, 3 strikeouts.
Get it done, you know.
Hatters
Get this done, you got it.
with 11 in the first inning. They've done enough to hold on to a pretty comfortable lead, although at times it hasn't felt like it. McLaren hits one in the air to left. Ray is there. 1 away. Talked about UCF. They've got 2 teams below them in the standings coming up with Houston and Kansas. They're the top team in the Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma gone. This season has been Texas Tech, who are 16-2 in the league, 2.5 games ahead of Arizona for first place. Arizona has the best overall record at 39-9. They're back-to-back in the ESPN poll, 12-13. Garcia pokes one out towards shortstop. Evans calling, and it takes just 3 pitches for the first 2 outs of the 6th.
Texas Tech's, went out and made a new hire in their head coach. They got a lot of transfers coming in to bolster what they had coming back, including Nigel Kennedy on the mound. Certainly doesn't hurt your case.
The only other Big 12 team in the poll right now is Oklahoma State at 23. And then Iowa State received 1 vote last week. all 11 teams in the Big 12 make the tournament. It's just that the top 5 get a bye, so there will be 3 play-in games, and then you go right into the 8-team tournament. And the ASUN is a really interesting kind of ladder bracket this year, where the top 2 teams will get byes, will get sort of a quadruple bye, and everybody else kind of goes down the way. Stetson right now would be the 6th seed, meaning they'd get a bye out of the play-in round. And they just need to win 1 game to make sure that they were in line to play with the losers bracket. But they've got a pretty good chance to get up into the top 4. They're 1 game behind Florida Gulf Coast. And the way they're playing right now, I wouldn't bet against them. And they've got the head-to-head over FGCU for the season.
They're definitely in a position to win their way up the ladder. And I really like the way of course, we haven't seen it play out yet, the tournament structure, but I like that they're rewarding your finish. Yeah, before it was just if you got the top 2 seeds, you got a bye, and everything was equal after that. With this system, the bottom 2 in each side are going to play off.
So there's 2 6-team divisions, 6 places out. The 4th and 5th place teams in each division will play each other in a single elimination. Then the 3rd place teams get introduced, and so on and so forth. So the top team in the Graphite division is almost certainly going to be North Florida. In fact, it is going to be North Florida. They've clinched 1st place. They have 3 byes.
Yeah, they pretty much don't have to show up until Friday.
Napoli now with a full count. Napoli homered off of Vega to the opposite field her last time, and that is a crucial home run in this game right now. A 3-run lead would feel a lot less secure than 5.
Absolutely.
For Stetson, the way UCF has been mashing the ball.
Yes.
Payoff pitch fouled away. But Stetson with a series with West Georgia, and they go to Jacksonville this weekend, and West Georgia at home to close it out. 4-2 is a reasonable expectation there, and that should be enough to get them into 2nd place in their division if they go 4-2 in those 6 games.
Yeah, Stetson kind of had their conference season stacked with the better teams at the first half of their conference season. And
Brian finished this off. She pitched a brilliant top of the 6th. It seemingly sucked any momentum UCF had out. It's a 5-run Hatter lead here in the top of the 7th. And Strat, who has an extra base hit each of her last 2 times up, takes a strike. Strat has homered and doubled, scored both times. Had just 2 hits for her career coming into the night. And she hits this one on the screws out towards right center. Epley gives it a look, it's gone.
Kylie Strat having a breakout night here versus the Hatters. 2 home runs and a double. When does that happen? The Knights are not done here in this April, cool night in April. Balls are just flying out of the field. And once again, the ball just, numbers high. Batter doesn't have to do a whole lot but stay through it.
Goodness gracious, Kylie Strat has,
that's a tremendous,
beyond a career night.
That's a good week for most hitters.
Again, a player who was 2 for 27 for her career before tonight is 3 for 3 with 2 home runs and a double, 10 total bases. And here's Ray, who takes high. Ray is 2 for 3, homered in the 3rd. UCF now increasing that school record, 7 home runs in a single game. Ray takes a strike, 1-1.
You got to think both pitching coaches are over there saying, well, what do I call? What pitches do I call? What can we execute to get an out?
Yeah, Stetson's only hit 3 home runs for their 13.
Right now, one was a grand slam.
Yeah, the grand slam is still the game-winning hit at this moment. This one fought off the hands into no man's land. It drops for a base hit. Well, Arnold jams Ray, who fights it out into shallow right center, and she's aboard. And the Knights, 4 runs away, have put a runner aboard here with nobody out.
Yeah, it's a good pitch by Haley Arnold here. She does bounce back, but Ray is able to muscle that out just into that Bermuda Triangle. Simon coming up for her second at bat. She hit a loud line drive out to McLaren and left in her last at bat. She didn't get fooled on anything.
1-0 here to Simon. Yeah, she smoked that ball. Was fortunate, the Hatters were, that it hit the glove of McLaren. That's in for a strike. Good breaking pitch there by Haley Arnold. 1-1. UCF still in this. 1-1. Bounce back to the circle. Arnold gets the out at second. Foster to first, not in time.
Come on, make it sure they double play out of this.
They get the lead runner for the first out. This close to a 1-6-3 double play. Nice defending by the Hatters.
Yeah, nice play here. Arnold gets it and it immediately
Paul
turns.
Malone wants to argue something. She's been working the umpires all night. Hasn't gotten one to go her way.
She
wants obstruction on Foster.
No, she's going to argue that Foster didn't get second base.
I don't think that's...
Arnold crossed behind the base. You know, Foster crosses behind, kicks the back corner. That's her MO for double plays, and I think she's arguing that she didn't get the bag.
Well, there's no replay, so they'd have to all agree to turn it over. Well, Ball Malone is going to get her say in. Yeah. I mean, Salgado continuing to entertain this.
Yeah.
Now he's going to bring everybody together here.
I mean, nobody else is going to
I
have...
don't understand how you can overturn something if you don't have video, though. I mean, where are we getting that from?
We're getting the video, but...
And she's clearly on the bag.
She's got her front foot on the bag. She comes across.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that. And they have confirmed the out. Yep.
My question is, I mean...
She did kind of bounce off the bag, but then she lands on it with the ball. So it is a clear out.
So she... my only question is, why as the umpire, why do you even go ask? Who else has a look?
Yeah.
You're standing right there. Nobody else has a look unless you have a replay. What are we talking about?
Maybe just being nice.
That's just appeasing Coach Ball Malone over there by going to ask, but nobody else has a better look than you do.
Here's Jaimes, who's singled and walked. Now ahead 1-0. These were a 4-pitch walk against Arnold her first time, and Arnold, who's been in the zone all night to every other batter, just doesn't want to throw Jaimes a strike. Simon on first, 2 outs left for the Hatters to get, and Jaimes again ahead 3-0. It's like they're just going to put her on.
Just not sure. Here comes Coach Cousins to settle things down.
Well, she didn't like that. You got the 9-hitter up here. Evans and Humphreys looming. Humphreys would be the tying run if they can get a couple runners aboard.
You certainly want to settle things down here, stop any breath of air that the Knights offense has here, kind of cut things off at the pass. And Coach Cousins is going to go out there and just remind Haley what she's doing. You know, you're in control. You have the ball. They have to hit what you pitch. As you see Coach Cousins going back to the dugout, imagine any day she's going to deliver her second child. It's not making her life less stressful at the moment.
No, this has been a high-anxiety game for a game where you scored 11 runs in the first inning. Jaimes takes the strike on 3-0. Hatters trying to finish off their most impressive win of the season. Not nearly as easy as you thought it would be when they went up 11-0. UCF hitting 7 home runs off of 3 Hatter pitchers tonight.
Yeah, when you throw up 11 in the first and you gave up none, you're thinking that's going to be an easy night for you, but it has been anything but that.
Yeah, pitch to Jaimes. Bouncer towards third. Chumley's got it. Throws low. Good pick by Weller. 2 out.
Well done. Chumley does a great job of elevating and getting this high bouncer, but Devin Weller over there saves her keister by digging that ball out of the dirt, and she's done that all year. She's played a solid first base all season, and she was just in and out of the lineup early because she wasn't producing offensively, but that has changed
First base is a position that is more valuable the lower your level is. Because at the highest level, the infielders are going to make those throws on the money pretty much all the time. But the further down the ladder you go, the more your first baseman is going to have to save errors. And Weller has done a really nice job of that. Evans 2 for 4, homered in the third, is the last hope here for the Knights. 1-0 on the inside corner for a strike.
I think you know, having been around the game as long as I have, you go out to the field and you watch, and typically people are all in all of the shortstop and the third baseman. You know, they're making all the stops, so to speak. Very little credit is given to the right side of the field. You know, your first baseman, your second baseman, and the right fielder, where they have to react counterintuitively to over 50% of the plays.
2-1, line to right center. That's down for a base hit. Coming around third is Simon. She will score. As the throw comes in short of the plate, an RBI single for Evans. That'll put the tying run on deck with Humphreys coming up.
Evans does Evans things here. She goes with that outside pitch, pokes it over in her right field. Napoli unable to get enough on it to get the runner. Of course, the runner was able to run as soon as contact was made, so that by the time that landed and she got it in the air, not much chance to get her out at home.
First pitch in for a strike.
Humphreys is from what I've seen from her swing tonight, she's a pull hitter. I would look for the Hatters to try to get her out by making her reach for something or off speed. So there's that pitch on the outside half of the plate, and all the UCF fans are a little upset about that.
So it's 0-2, the Knights down to their last strike. Humphreys 1 out of 2 with 2 walks. Hits this one into the left center field gap, and the Knights are going to get the tying run to the plate. Throw is cut off by Foster. Humphreys goes to second with a double, and Kotzelnick will get up with a chance to tie the game here in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, Humphreys lines this. She gets a pitch. It is outside half of the plate, but it leaks back over. I think it was supposed to be a drop ball, but it hung up, and she was able to barrel that up, send it screaming out into left center. The ball goes to the cutoff. Unfortunately, there's not enough communication. I think she could have gotten Humphreys diving into second base. As it is, the Knights have runners on second and third with 2 outs, but the heart of their order at the plate.
Kotzelnick has singled, flown out twice, hit into a fielder's choice, 1 for 4. The Knights get the tying run to the plate with 1 out to go after going down 11-0.
There has been nothing easy tonight for either team.
This ball fouled off to the left, 0-1. You had to know it would come down to this. It took the Knights all 7 innings, but they've gotten the tying run to the plate.
Yeah, the Knights have, credit to them, they have not given up all night. The Hatters have struck back a time or two, and they've just not given up, and they just keep swinging the bat.
0-1, knocked down by Chumley. It's going to be an infield hit. Evans scores. Humphreys to third. Kotzelnick, the tying run is on at first.
Kotzelnick really lines this to the 5-6 hole. Chumley does a good job to actually knock this down, and it careens off to Garcia, coming in from her second base position to keep the ball in the infield, to fortunately keep the trail runner in Humphrey from scoring.
3 consecutive 2-out hits for UCF. The tying run is on first. The go-ahead run, Griffin, is at the plate. Griffin is the only Knight, or one of only 2 Knights without a hit tonight in terms of the lineup spots. 0 for 3 with a walk, and she takes a strike at the letters.
Griffin, in her 1 appearance versus Arnold, went down looking at the pitch on the inside half of the plate.
0-1. Change up on the outside corner. It's another 0-2 for Arnold with 2 out. Deep breath for Haley Arnold. 0-2 to Ashley Griffin. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1.
That's a good pitch by Arnold. You know, it's a competitive pitch, as we would say. It's, you know, it's not a waste pitch. It's not something that was so far out of the zone, but something that if Griffin had swung, she would probably not get a big piece of.
1-2. Line foul. We'll do it again. Griffin spoils that one.
Come on, Haley, you got this.
Weller, a little word of encouragement to the freshman Haley Arnold, who has struggled in the 7th inning. She's given up 3 runs on 5 hits in this frame. Just trying to see it out with a tying run on first base. 1-2 pitch. Golf foul down the left field line. That had home run distance, but goes foul. Griffin a little bit out in front.
Well hit, just pulled it, got out in front of it and pulled it past the bullpen down the left field line.
One, 2 to Griffin. Just gets a piece.
Griffin's not going to let the umpire decide this. She's going to be swinging at pretty much anything that Haley throws anywhere near the plate. She wants to control her own destiny in this situation.
Will we see the changeup here from Arnold? It's been all hard stuff.
I would hope change or curve low away or drop low away, I should say.
No. 1-2, hit in the air, left field, McLaren at the wall, it's gone! Ashley Griffin hits a 3-run home run, and UCF has come all the way back from 11 runs down to take the lead, 14-13 in the 7th inning.
As I said, Ashley Griffin was not leaving that to the umpire. She didn't like that call earlier in the at-bat. She took matters in her own hands, and she sent that one handily out into left field. I thought McLaren had a chance at it for a moment, but past the outstretched hands of McLaren and left, parked another 3-run home run.
The 8th home run of the night for UCF. An 11-0 deficit is now a 14-13 lead as Mertes takes down and in, and it was 13-9 with 2 out. 4 straight hits for the Knights, the last of which a 3-run home run for Ashley Griffin. Her 4th home run of the season. And what else can you say about this Knights team to come back from 11 runs down?
Never say die, lots of character, and of course, big swings.
Mertes goes around on a changeup 1 and 2. Now the Hatters will bring the top of the order to the plate in the bottom of the 7th. We'll have one last chance here. Trailing for the first time tonight. 1-2, Mertes strikes out. 1 batter too late for Haley Arnold, who gives up a 6th spot in the top of the 7th. Here we go. Stetson, last licks, trailing for the first time tonight. With 7 runs against LIU in February 2018. They have overcome an 11-run deficit tonight. They've hit a program record 8 homers in this game. They trailed 11-0 after the first. They lead 14-13 in the bottom of the 7th. It's not over yet, though. Addison Foster, who has been on all 4 times, leading off for the Hatters, who can still win this game with a 2 spot here in the bottom of the 7th. UCF rewriting their record book tonight, but can they finish it off with a win? Foster doubled her last time up against Isabella Vega, who has retired 5 in a row after struggling. Gave up 2 in the 4th and then another double in the 5th, but has settled down. Got a 1-2-3 6th against the bottom of the order. Foster takes a big cut, misses the 2-0.
It's uncharacteristic of Foster there, going for the fence. She's been hitting the ball well. recently, as we've talked about the whole broadcast, but Hatter batters have to settle in and just get base runners at this point. Do what they've done all night. Take bad pitches, swing at good pitches.
2-1, fouled back to the screen, 2-2.
You know, put their teammate behind them in a position to win the game.
You know what?
And most likely it's going to take more than one hit to do it, so find yourself on base, give your team a chance to pass the bat and score a couple and win the game.
This one popped up left side. Humphreys calling, 1 out, and Foster retired for the first time tonight. A huge out for Vega.
Yeah, Foster chases this pitch out of the zone on the outside half. Lifts it up, easy play for the third baseman.
Maybe the most insane game that has ever been played in this building. I mean, you've seen most of them, Vanessa.
I have seen most of them. I've seen a lot of softball in my, we won't say how many years. This is probably the craziest game I've seen playing, coaching, and now broadcasting career. This has been really crazy. Not one pitcher has really had what they could call a good night.
No, even Vega, who has been good enough to settle things down, has been far from her best. Epley ahead 2-0. Cammie just needs to get on here. Epley tonight is 1 for 3. Singled, walked, hit into a fielder's choice, and popped out. She scored 2 runs. (2-0). That's on the outside corner.
Curveball in the outside corner coming back over the plate. Nice pitch by Vega. She was missing with that a lot earlier.
Two and 1. The pitch. Epley fights it off. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Consistently throwing these lefty batters outside. They've got to make that adjustment and go to left field with this pitch instead of trying to pull them.
2-2 to Epley. Vega fighting back from another 2-0 count. Now the foul ball. Mertes 2 home runs. Strott 2 home runs. Remember, she hit the first one in the 6-run 7th inning. Strott 3 for 3 with 10 total bases. Mertes has homered twice. Griffin hits the big one, the 3-run homer to give UCF the lead in the top of the 7th.
The one thing we've seen tonight is that no lead is safe.
Stetson would like the last word. 2-2 outside for ball 3. Epley going to get an 8th pitch in this at bat.
Again, UCF staying on the outside pitch, or Vegas staying on the outside part of the plate, trying to get Epley to pop it up or roll over it.
3-2. Epley nubs it to third. Humphreys with a tough play, sails the throw, and they say Griffin landed on the bag. Cousins pops out of the dugout immediately. I thought she was safe. I thought that Griffin did not land until after Epley got through. We'll have to look at the replay. The home plate umpire, Smith, seems to think that this should go the other way, and they are going to overturn it.
Yeah.
Well, the first base ump has had a rough night. Smith does a good job to come out there and overturn it, and Epley is on with the tying run with an infield hit.
Yeah, Humphrey gloves this early and just gets really excited and airmails this to first base, and then Griffin is unable to hold the bag and get the ball at the same time. You see the separation between the bag.
Epley actually hits her foot on the way down.
Yeah.
Kind of collided into each other. So Epley aboard. Do you send her?
I don't see.
There's been no stolen bases at all tonight, except for that one kind of delayed double steal the Knights did earlier. Here's a double play grounder off the bat at Chumley. Second one, the throw, in time, double play, UCF with their largest comeback win in program history. 8 home runs, also a program record for a single game, and the Knights are